Once she realizes that her body is falling apart, her heart is falling apart, her life is falling apart because of his constant behaviors, and she decides to make a change and she expresses this to her children in any way, what do you think's going to happen? If she has spent a decade or two building him up, excusing his poor behavior, ignoring his bad behavior, pretending like it's not even happening, or making a great explanation for why it happened and how it's never going to happen again, her kids are going to look at her like she's nuts because she's mom and they trust mom. And if she has told them for a decade or two that he didn't mean that, he loves me, he loves you too, then that has completely blinded her children to live in reality and to see who he is. Have you ever found yourself making excuses for his behavior? Have you ever heard yourself say, "No, he didn't mean that. That was an accident. He's so tired. Oh, no, you just misunderstand the situation. He totally loves me. No, he would never hurt me." Or you tell your kids he's just had a huge day and he realizes what he said was hurtful and he really wants to apologize. Have you found yourself doing that? Protecting the behavior that was right there? The harmful, hurtful behavior? I mean, in relationships, we are all going to hurt each other. It's what do we do at that moment? And if we ask for forgiveness for the exact sin that we just committed, hey, I'm so sorry I spoke to you super harshly. That was inappropriate and hurtful. Will you please forgive me? That's kind of keeping it clean. That's cleaning it up. And then what's so important is what happens next. Does the offender's behavior change? Do the patterns change? Do you see a total behavioral difference over a long period of time? Or is it a pattern that just goes back and just keeps going? Continues to hurt you, asks for forgiveness, continues to hurt you, asks for forgiveness, the exact same pattern all the time. And you're running around trying to cover it up. No, he didn't mean it. Oh, he's sorry. Oh, I feel so bad for him. He's just had a big day. This can be one of the most damaging things to us. And I have seen the destruction that happens when women do this. And this is something I wish somebody had told me. Because how many times have I gone to one of my kids and said, "Oh, you know what? Dad spoke hard with you, and I know he feels terrible. He would never mean to hurt you. Oh, your dad is a good man. He's a godly man. And yeah, he spoke to me badly. I know you saw that, but he didn't mean it, whatever." How many times have I run interference and protected his reputation and actually put him up on a pedestal? I've done that because that was way easier than admitting his behavior is harmful, it's wrong, and it's a choice that he's making and is continuing to make, and I am allowing him to continue this pattern by protecting him. I wish somebody had told me, "Stop." No, actually, it has nothing to do with his insecurity. It has nothing to do with his big, heavy day. He's being cruel because he's being cruel, and that's his behavior. I've seen so many women, this is heart-crushing, who have been with harmful husbands, who have maybe apologized here and there, but the patterns have continued. It's the same thing over and over again. And they go to their children and build their husbands up. It's easier than accepting the truth, right? Well, these women, when they finally open their eyes and say, "Yeah, this is not a healthy relationship for me. I'm being hurt." He meant that. He was mean because he's being mean. He's choosing to be mean. Once she realizes that her body is falling apart, her heart is falling apart, her life is falling apart because of his constant behaviors, and she decides to make a change, and she expresses this to her children in any way, what do you think's going to happen? If she has spent a decade or two building him up, excusing his poor behavior, ignoring his bad behavior, pretending like it's not even happening, or making a great explanation for why it happened and how it's never going to happen again, her kids are going to look at her like she's nuts because she's mom and they trust mom. And if she has told them for a decade or two that he didn't mean that, he loves me, he loves you too, then that has completely blinded her children to live in reality and to see who he is. And again, if a husband makes a mistake and asks for forgiveness and then fights hard to make changes and does make changes and breaks those patterns, that's a whole different situation. We're talking about repetitive bad behaviors. And I just cannot believe how many women have lost their children because they were so busy protecting, loving, honoring, and respecting their husbands while their husbands were misbehaving. And you know what? That's no way to love your husband either. It's allowing him to stay in sin. It's allowing him to treat your children badly. It's allowing him to treat you badly because you're there to clean it up and to make it pretty. And it is heart-crushing to see a woman make the decision, I've got to leave or I'm gonna die, and then tries to bring her children with her, explains the situation to them in whatever healthy way she can, and they look at her like mom's lost it. Dad's amazing. He's never done anything. Mom's totally overreacting. This couldn't be dad because this isn't who dad is according to mom's words through our whole lives. So wake up. Look at the behaviors for what they are. How he treats you on a daily basis, how he cleans up his messes and then makes changes, breaks those harmful patterns to love you better. If he's not doing that, and he's continuing to go through this cycle of hurting you, asking forgiveness, hurting you, asking forgiveness, maybe not even asking forgiveness, but the cycle of harm just continues and you're just used to, well, I'll just close the door and I'll go cry in my room, or I'm going to close the door because he's speaking rudely to me. I don't want the kids to hear. Oh, I'm going to go to the kids' room and say, yeah, that probably didn't sound good, but that's just because dad was upset about. You got to stop it. Stop it. Because you're not loving him by doing that. You're not loving yourself. You're not loving your children. And it could end up wrecking you. I wish somebody had told me that. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm telling you this. Open your eyes, watch the behavior. That's where the love is either seen or not seen, and in how they clean up their mess, and quit making excuses for their harmful behavior, especially to yourself and to your children. I've lost 90% of the people in my life because I did that. I praised him. I stood up for him. I put this wall up when people would confront me about him, and I would just say, no, you just don't understand. He's such a great man. And because I did that, and then I realized it was killing me, these people probably all think I'm nuts. Because wait, she was living in a fairy tale. She had it all. She told us that she had it all. But they didn't see me go home and go in the closet and cry. They didn't see me being ignored in the kitchen for hours. They didn't see it because I didn't let them see it. I was so busy protecting the offender. And it's like a boomerang. It comes back in your face. The behaviors are the behaviors. The behaviors show he loves you, he doesn't love you. The patterns, the lack of changing of those harmful patterns, realizing he doesn't love you and that he means to hurt you, and your children is so painful. Don't add on to that, putting your kids in a fantasy land, and then they think you're a lunatic when you speak the truth. Watch out for that. I'm so glad you're here, and I hope you continue to come back as we walk through these castle walls together. I'll see you next time.